Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about the Green Challenge tag. So this was from the Sea Priestess. She said for 2020 to do the Green Challenge, and her original idea is that every month you would make a video talking about the ways that you're making your practice and your life more green. What I'm going to do is take that and just do a video right now talking about how I am being green during quarantine. This is that video. So so being green obviously means being eco-friendly, earth-friendly, trying to do things that are in betterment of the earth and not harming it. So some things that I've been doing and during quarantine is having a garden. We have planted a garden in order to grow our own food instead of having to buy as much food from the grocery stores. And let's see, what else have we been doing? We've been planting trees more because we want to block the traffic from the road, but we have been planting trees, which is always green to do. We've been planting pine trees. And we have a compost, so any food that we make that we don't eat, we put into a compost. And yes, we are putting pretty much any food source in the compost, but we're letting it all break down. There's the occasional wild animals like skunks and foxes and coyotes that get into the compost and steal some of the food, which is fine. But we are doing a compost, and we actually have quite a large pile now of soil. It's such a cool process. If you don't have a compost, you really should try it. It's so interesting to just take all this food and watch it convert into soil. It's crazy. It's science. It's amazing. I love composting. Back at the other place that I used to live at, we also had a compost, so I definitely agree with composting. And that way you don't waste your food. You're not just throwing your food away. Whether it's food from meals that you just didn't eat that you don't want to store, or if it is food leftovers that you have in the fridge that went bad, instead of just throwing it away, you can put it in a compost and actually use it. And the compost soil we're going to be using in our garden and just for like the trees and stuff to help give them extra nutrients and have that extra soil. What other things have we been doing to be green? Well, I will say that originally before quarantine, let me just make this shout out that, and I will be getting back into this lifestyle after quarantine is over, but before quarantine, I would try and buy lots of my food from local farmers markets and local markets. If I try and go to local grocery stores that sell local produce. We have a couple of stores around here where their food is supplied by local farmers and farms. So I would buy from those people, buy from farmers markets, buy local. I also tried to buy more organic and natural based foods instead of buying the mainstream food that either can be riddled with pesticides and herbicides or can be full of antibiotics and stuff, and also just the inhumane treatment of the plants and the animals. So I try and buy humanely sourced, ethically sourced food and get the natural organic whenever possible. I also was going gluten-free, and it's surprising, like, in order to buy gluten-free, most of it is like an all-natural brand already, which is good. Uh, let's see. What else? I guess that's like it really. My food is probably the where I am the greenest. Um, I also am green with my personal care products. So I have been buying natural soaps and shampoos, and also locally handmade products that I know are natural, using ones that have natural ingredients and are natural. Um, any Bath and Body Care products that I can make myself or that I can buy that is naturally sourced, natural ingredients. I do that. Cleaning products, I make my own cleaning products with essential oils and other natural ingredients that are going to be natural to use not only for my health and my household's health, but also for the environment. Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I do in my life that's green. I do try and take more natural medicine. I do think Western medicine is important, and I think that there are certain Western medicines that you should take when you have chronic and severe illnesses. And I don't think that natural remedies can cure everything, which is why a balance between natural remedies and Western medicine is important. But I do try and take natural remedies for common ailments and minor ailments, acute ailments that are easily cured with a natural remedy, an herb or something, or a food, other than going to the pharmacy and buying these drugs that actually do have a bigger carbon footprint to produce. Let alone, is it as safe? I do think that Western medicine is still safe to take if you need it. I do think that sometimes there's just extra fillers in medicine in order to make it. Not that it's bad for you, but it's just extra fillers in order for them to make it. And, if you can treat yourself naturally with food and herbs and the like, then why take the medicine that has the fillers in it? Something else that we also are doing here that I would say is more green is that we do have our own chickens. We got some chickens, and when they're growing right now, and when they're old enough to produce eggs, we'll have eggs for those chickens. Right now, they are just egg chickens. We're not planning on eating them because we need them for the eggs. I'm also under the standpoint that, yes, I'm an omnivore, but I do feel that if you're going to get meat and dairy products, it should come from humane sources, that they treat the animal as humanely as possible. The animal has a great life, and the animal enjoyed their life. I also do think that, as much as possible, I do want to raise my own animals, and if we do kill animals to eat that we will wait until they are midlife or a bit older than midlife before we kill them. Most animals on the market are killed within the first couple of years of their life, or if anything, they are killed when they are quite young. And you don't have to kill an animal that young in order to have the meat still be good. So I prefer to have the animal live at least till midlife, if not longer, before killing it. Ideally, having the animal live until it's of old age and then killing it to eat it. And then, of course, killing it humanely. And yes, I do think there is a way to kill humanely. My way of killing humanely is give the animal its last meal, and while it is enjoying its last meal, you just shoot it in the back of the head without it ever knowing that you had a gun or that you were there, and it's done. They didn't even know. They trust you. They've had a good life. They're having their last meal. You're behind them. They don't even see you approaching, and it one and done. One shot and they're down, and they didn't even suspect it. That helps preserve the meat from the hormones going into it from if the animal was having stress, and it also is humane for the animal. And I do think that is a humane way to do that. Is there anything else that I do that is green in my life? I really have to say it just comes down to how I get food, and my personal care products are as green as I can make them. I unfortunately have not found a way to make my clothes be eco-friendly. I I know there are ways, but I haven't found a practical way to do that. But yeah, try and take care of the earth as much as possible, and I try not to, I don't leave waste or garbage anywhere when I'm out and about in nature. I try and minimize my carbon footprint as much as possible, and don't, leave the place better than I found it. When you go out in nature, you leave it better than you found it. That is my philosophy. So that is how I am green. That's what we're doing in quarantine right now, to be green, and kind of how I live my life to be green, and that is what I do. So feel free to do this challenge. You could talk about how you're green every month. You can maybe pick a topic that you want to talk about that is green to you and do that every month, or you could do what I did and just make an overall video about how you live the green lifestyle. Real quick, guys, one thing I will say is also how am I green in my practice? Probably what you guys care about the most, right? Green in my practice, I try not to buy things that I don't need. If possible, I try and get my books digitally and not in paperback. I have actually switched my candles to being beeswax. I know that's an ethical thing. I think as long as you get it from ethical apiaries and treatment-free hives and people that really care about their bees, that the beeswax candles are perfectly fine to use. In the future would love to grow my own herbs. And I do buy ethically sourced herbs and essential oils from Mountain Rose Herbs and other companies like Rocky Mountain Oils. And I try and make as many of my products as possible. All of my wands have been made by my partner, and I try and have natural items for my altar, for my tools, from nature, naturally fallen, naturally collected. Make my own incense with my own herbs and oils, and make my own infused oils. I do also make sure I buy ethically sourced crystals. Yeah. So I think my path is already pretty nature-based. I try and keep it as natural as possible. And so most of what I do is just bringing nature into my magic and into my practice. So it already makes itself green in a way, and I do try and keep it as green and natural as possible. And if I do find something that I'm using that I realize is not eco-friendly or green, I'll figure out a way either to switch it to something that is or get rid of it altogether. And I actually have recently been making a switch with a lot of my ingredients and certain things that I have that I realized were not beneficial to the planet. I've switched those out to more beneficial ones or gotten rid of them entirely and made sure my practice truly is as green and natural as possible as I can make it, because I call myself a nature witch, and I do want to hold true to being an advocate for the earth and being eco-friendly. And so I try and be as natural as possible, eco-friendly, not only in my life but also in my practice. So that is my video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to do your own. Stay safe and healthy. Thanks for watching. Have a good day and a good night. Blessed be. Bye.